now, and I was just chatting on this private group, and I just saw a video of Jamal speaking about. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember you were sharing some stuff from your living room about life, attraction. I don't remember. Yeah, I just put a comment, and then we start to chat. So I invite you, and don't remember how, but we're just starting to chat in this private group, and then become to talk a little bit more. And then we've been working. I mean, you introduced me into iGenius then, which is a platform on a financial, um, I call it financial success or financial development, financial learning, and education, financial education, which I love. And so you first was my mentor in this for this platform, and we start working for maybe 4 weeks, 5 weeks like that on iGenius, which was very good fun and good stuff. And then I just wanted to move on and go to next level with thinking to results. So that's pretty much how I remember how we met.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. You know what? I think the group was the Reverend Ike group. They had uh
Mhm. You mean the
different
Bob Proctor group?
yeah, I'm not sure which group it was. Because I
I
remember
think
Reverend Ike, and I
hmm
think I saw you comment or something. Anyway,
Yeah,
it seems so long ago because we have been working together for almost 6 months now, right?
yeah.
And it's
Mhm.
been a powerful journey. I can't believe the months go by that fast. So speaking of that, you know, what were you seeking to be or achieve before mentorship?
Mhm. Um, my concern before mentorship was financial um, freedom, financial skills, uh, and on how to achieve basically my dreams and my goals about my music, my career as a drummer, and my career as a teacher with my new school. And so I just wanted to. I just want. I'm seeking for a boost. I want to learn with people who know more than me and who know how to succeed in life, and to do more faster and in a bigger way. And so that's why I'm seeking. When I started thinking to results, I was seeking for more knowledge to understand myself and to have the confidence and the skills in order to achieve my goals quicker. Basically, that's it.
I gotcha. And a lot of people don't know what thinking into results is.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention, I've been trained and mentored by the legend Bob Proctor. If you don't know who he is, definitely look him up. He's a leader in the industry, to put it very mildly. He's changed millions of lives. And thinking into results is a 6 month mentorship where Mario and I we meet every week, and Mario hasn't missed one call. So congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you.
That's a feat in itself. I got to put up some. I forgot I have that. So, that's very, very powerful, and it's basically a mentorship where we go through it together, right? It's not where it's a bunch of information, a bunch of stuff, and you read it and hope things change. We do it together, page by page, right? Lesson by lesson. So what inspired you to be open to mentorship, would you say?
I would say that to make it short, I experienced some stuff during my life that's made me understand that I need help to understand how things are working and how to enjoy a good life and how to achieve my things. And those experiences really, really made me think of what I want in my life, what I really want, and what I need, and make me realize that, yeah, I need. to find someone, some people who can help me and support me and guide me to achieve my things. And a mentorship for me, it's the best way. Like now that I know about that, for me it's essential to have mentorship in order to achieve anything that we want to achieve. So I'm very glad and proud of myself to realizing that, and yeah, to be open. I've been always open to different stuffs. I've done uncommon stuff in my life, and I'm always open to new things. So I think that's part of my personality. But I'm very happy that I've just started this mentorship. It really changed changed my life, the way I'm thinking, the way I'm seeing the world.
I love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome, Mario. Not many people, I actually was a kind of closed-minded to mentorship, right? I'll be honest. I didn't see the benefit in it. And I was like, okay, it's something I had to invest in, you know? And it's interesting how we buy all these different things in the world,
Mhm.
just material things, maybe even food or travel. And, you know, but I tell a lot of people the best investment to make is in you. And I never really understood that until I, broke through a lot of fear for mentorship for myself, to break through, you know, to do this professionally. I was so scared to do it. And I was like, it doesn't make sense. And it didn't make sense to my limiting self, right? We all have these lower versions of ourself, and Mario knows this very well, where we have these beliefs that they're embedded in our subconscious. And these beliefs create who we are and our own reality. And I had to break those old beliefs to even consider mentorship. I would not be sitting here if I didn't like get out of my comfort zone, right? It was huge fear. And, you have to break through it over and over and over again to change your results in life. So Mario knows I can talk forever because that's just what spirit does to me when I start talking about this. So, what made you decide to make a committed decision towards improving yourself and your results with mentorship?
I think I took the decision a long time ago, uh, 1 year ago maybe, and I was just waiting for something, and basically I was thinking that I couldn't afford a mentorship. So I already took the decision. I know I would do it because that's what I wanted. And we started to work together with Agnes, things like that, and having, knowing more each other, and you've been teaching me some stuff before we started the mentorship, which I thank you for that because it keep me on track with what I wanted, even though I wasn't doing mentorship. But then at some point I just realized like, yeah, I want to do mentorship. I want to learn this material. I know Bob Proctor from few years, few months, and that's what I want. I want to understand myself. I want to understand all that, and it looks like this program is awesome, and I will have a lot of very good understandings of very good informations, and it will change my life and change the way I'm thinking. And it is. And so I just realized that actually I have the money. I had this money to do it. It was just I wasn't it's just my limiting belief, my limiting self that was you cannot afford this price to do it. And no, you've never done it before because I've never done that before. And so I think we had a discussion, or I don't know, many things put together and just thinking like, actually, I can, I can do it. And I think when we have this call, like I wanted to know more about this program, mentorship, and we were planning for weeks to do the payment and everything. And I think in less than the period we 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 settle. I just do the payment and just started because it was there for me to start. It was just my mind that were limited in, yeah, I can't, but now I know I can, and I did. So
Hmm.
that's that's a
Yeah.
long answer, but
No, that's a great answer. I can totally relate to that, you know.
yeah.
Um, One thing that comes to mind is this type of material and mentorship can be applied to any business, right? It doesn't matter what industry you're in, the financial industry, music, maybe you're like in the health field or even coaching, even real estate, it doesn't matter, you know, and it's you that matters. It's your mindset, what you believe that's true for you, and the direction. You know, I talk to a lot of people, and some people are have scattered thoughts, right? They don't really know what they really want in life. They know they want more, but they have all these different goals. And you know, mentorship, it doesn't matter if you're running your own business or you're working for someone and you want to be an entrepreneur, um, anything's possible. And Bob says it, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. So whatever you can dream, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, you can achieve. It's so true. So you did touch on it a little bit, about fear. And he talked about how I didn't have the money. I was the same way. I said, "Holy crap, I don't have the money." Um, but when I made a decision, the money came. There was a way that came when I made a decision, and not a lot of people understand that, right, at this point in their lives. But they know when they want to do something, the only prerequisite is wanting it. Do you desire it? Right? And most people make a decision based on their current circumstances. And we're just conditioned that way. So I had to really, really learn that. I wouldn't say the hard way. It was uncomfortable, but now that I learned that, I can do it again and again. You know. So speaking of fear, so you touched on it. What was the scariest part of choosing mentorship, and why did you choose to break through that fear?
Um, I think for me the biggest was the money, just just the money. But at the end, it's just a small. It's not a big thing, but that's just the only thing that was um, making me waiting more and not doing it. Just the money, the fear of maybe I will lose my money, maybe I will have difficulties because I put a lot of money in that. So, but at the end, it's just to me, it's better to do and to fail than not to do. So that's what I was thinking. Just better do it, and then if it's not, at least I've done something. So I can now move on to another step, another decision, knowing that, okay, I can adapt. But if not so, it would have been just staying the same. And yeah, at that point, that was impossible for me to just stay the same and do the same things. No, no way. So,
I love that. I love
yeah.
it. Yeah, that's such a great answer, you know. It's interesting how we let fear either challenge us or keep us still, right? There's only
Yeah.
two ways we can go.
Yeah.
And you chose to go through it, right? You said in a unique way, I rather do and fail rather than not do and fail, right? So you risk taking. That's one of the articles, right? There's no growth without risk taking, right? There's no growth. If you're, you know, think about it. If you're just standing still on a
Mhm.
rock or whatever, you'll never take a risk to get off that rock. Nothing will ever change,
Yeah. Yeah.
ever. You'll just stand there, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And some people do that until their dying day, right? So, you know, I'm so glad you mentioned that because without risk taking, um, you know, there's no forward momentum, you know, and it's only a risk when you see it as a risk too. It's your perception. right? Because that's your limiting self saying, oh, what if I blow my money and nothing happens? That's a limiting, lack minded um, mindset, right?
Mhm.
Remember, there's the law of polarity, abundance and ignorance, which is lack of simply not knowing. So you
Mhm.
have a lack mindset, negative, fear, doubt, worry, disease, etc.
Mhm.
And then you have abundance, knowing that everything's going to work out. And you can always choose which side you want to be on, right? With abundance, you have faith, you have knowing, and you start learning more about yourself. That's what Mario has been doing. He learns more about the power of his thinking, better habits, closing the knowing doing gap, goals, right? Before this, we all had goals, but now you have clear direction of what you want. And we had a really good talk recently how he has more his awareness raised on what he really desires and what he's creating. We'll get into that a little bit. So yeah, I love that. That was so awesome. So what would you say was your biggest challenge? Well, you kind of answered it before committing to mentorship. It was the money, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that was your biggest challenge. You would say, right?
Yeah, I would say yeah. Mhm.
Okay, and that's common, because especially if you never invested in yourself with mentorship before, myself included, it's it's a challenge because you have your old self wanting you to be who you were, right? And you have your new self, you have that dream, that goal, you're meant for more. So what happens when you have X and Y conditioning?
Conflict and doubts and worries.
Exactly. Doubts and worries. So you have this is your conscious and subconscious. I should let Mario explain. He knows what it is.
Mhm.
But basically, you have X and Y conditioning in your body. This is your body down here. So you want to move forward because you're excited, but you're afraid because you've never been there. But you want to stay where you are. So that's what we call as a terror barrier. And more times you break through that fear, the higher version you become spiritually, intellectually, you grow as a person. So, and when you're investing in yourself, it's new for a lot of people, right? We buy so much, I wouldn't say junk, but it's things that won't last beyond your life, right? As Mario understands more about himself, and myself included, we're able to do more good beyond our own presence. So as he's building his very successful business, he has other things that he'll be developing as well that will be here long after us, right? And it impacts people beyond who we see with our eyes, right? So it's amazing, you taking this step. I get excited every time I think about it, because you're breaking through these limiting things that have been holding you back for a while. And you're doing great, you're making big moves. So what has been the biggest realization, right? Here's a good question. What has been the biggest realization or the topics that have been the most helpful you've received from mentorship over the past 6 months, would you say?
Hmm. I think it's self-image. Yeah, the lesson of self-image, like the importance of the image we get in our mind and especially in our subconscious mind, because if we don't have the self-image that will help you to achieve what we want, like for example, I want to climb Mount Everest, like as Bob always, giving that example. But if I don't have in my subconscious mind the idea of myself, the image of myself that I can achieve climbing Mount Everest, I will never climb Mount Everest. And so this lesson really made me do an introspection of myself, that what image I've got in the different areas of my life, my family, my work, dreaming, career, teaching, finances, my house, many things, and just be honest with the image I get of myself. And I found out that many of the areas that wasn't working well for me, actually I wasn't holding a good image of myself. So every time I want to do a move and do better things and achieve more, and I want things to be better, actually didn't work because I was holding a negative image of myself. So that was the result that I was getting in my profession, in my relations, and everything. And now that I really moved on with all the lessons, I'm always thinking of, yeah, this self-image things is really something very huge. And I want to, there is no limit to, the better we can do and the better image of ourselves we can build. So that's very exciting also. First of all, that's a realization that I have a self-image and understand, okay, I don't have a good self-image. Now I realize that I can change my self-image with the repetition, with good affirmation, good environment, things like that. And now I can do better and better and better and better and better every day, every year, and just be more, have more, and do more. So that's a very, very interesting lesson, concept, and what's the word? And interesting and nice. I mean, it's a very powerful lesson, which I love. And but yeah, there is many, many good points, but I think is the best is the better one so far. Maybe I'll
Okay.
change. Every lesson are awesome. Though maybe in another call I will say no, maybe that lesson. I'm sorry, I'm not lying, but just
Yeah,
maybe it's that one.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. Where's my heart? I love it. You're
Yeah.
speaking truth, right? Self-image is so important. And actually, self-image is part of your paradigm, which we haven't said yet, I don't think, on this live stream. Paradigm is basically your belief system. It's mental conditioning, and it's a multitude of habits that's fixed in your subconscious mind, if you want the full definition. But it's basically ideas that have been so embedded into your personality that you don't even know that they're there, right? And we're walking around with this image of ourselves, and we don't have anyone or anything to help us shift that. And Mario said it, you can never outperform your self image. So if you feel like you can only earn, I don't know, let's throw a number out, 50,000 a month. We'll $5,000 a month, okay? So if you have an image of $5,000 a month, that's the image you receive. The outside is a reflection of the inside. And there's usually two self-images. There's an inner image of yourself, that's the one you keep, right? And then there's one that you project to the world. So that's kind of like the mask that you wear. But guess what the universe sees? It's the one you hold on inside every day, and you know and you have unlimited potential. Mario shared that, right? So you have unlimited potential. So you can create the self-image over and over and over again, and it never ends. You can make and do have anything you want, but if you don't believe it and don't work on yourself and don't think of it as work, this is like fun because you can it's your imagination. You can have anything really. It's fun for me. And at the beginning it was work because my paradigm was trying to hold me back. And guess where the paradigm sits? In your subconscious mind, down here. It just stays there. And we call it stinking thinking. Stinking thinking. You don't want that, right? So you want to get rid of that and override it, right? You want to override it with the version of you with whatever it is that you want. So important. I'm glad you mentioned self-image, Mario, because that is extremely important. So what are your biggest wins in your life since the last 6 months, would you say? What would you say is a big win for you?
Hmm. Um, First of all, to get to at least the end of this program is a win. That I know I'm a better person. I've grown and I achieved something. It's just the beginning, but I achieved something big because I know not a lot of people are doing that. Studying every morning and uh, wondering questions about myself, looking at myself, doing introspections, taking time to really think. Sometimes you don't want to do it. It's early in the morning, you're traveling, things like that. And I've done it for at least 6 months. In 1 week, it's gonna be 6 months. So that's, yeah, the biggest win. I don't know because big, as you usually said, there is no big or small. It's just the perception. So to me, it's big. Let's say it's big. But I had also some big wins in like in my Instagram account, where I can see really a big um, raise, a big change because I went from having in less than 2 weeks. I think it was when I was working on this self-image lesson. In less than 2 weeks, I went from 800 followers on Instagram to more than 2,500 followers, like just quick. And I remember writing that as an exercise of this thinking to results, like that's me. I have followers, I have this, and I have people who like celebrities or are helping me to, be more seen on the social media. And I had this post of Erika Badu reposting one of my reels. So she has like 6.6 million followers on Instagram. And she just saw my reel and she just reposted it in her stories. So when I saw that, I was say, wow, I just wrote it like 4 days ago. I wrote that. I want celebrities to help me in achieving my goals. And I saw that, say, wow, this exercises that I'm doing with this program really work. And I'm so grateful that it happens. And yeah, many other things, big and small, happen, but those things I think is really biggest that I had during this mentorship.
Yeah, that is so amazing. I'm so glad you shared that win. Because when you told me, I was like, wow. And Erica Badu, she's amazing artist, amazing person, and to have you write it and then experience it in life. What did I say? If you see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand, right? And now you know through experience, it's very real, right? You
Yeah,
don't just think it works. Now you know,
yeah,
and you can continue to do that, right? There's no end to it. Do that every day, and I know you're doing it, so that's great. I think I mentioned for you to start a new Instagram. Was that the account that I
yeah,
said?
yeah, yeah. That's no account. I started that in when you say that in April, something like that. And I
Uh,
was moving from okay, 5 followers to then one, but it was long, like a process, like small by small. And then one time, just I have one reel going viral, and that,
yeah,
and yeah, now I want to more than almost 5,000 followers. So it's going on more and more. So it's part of my self-image because I knew I had in my mind that yeah, I don't have followers, I have an account. I was afraid on sharing myself, and you really pushed me in showing myself on Instagram, on social media, in speaking, and showing my face and talking. And I did. And when I start doing that with the image of myself, like people have a good image of me, and I'm helping them also because yeah, as you said, yeah, we are here to serve, and the more you serve, the more you see yourself as a giving person, the more you will receive that from the universe. So I just started doing that, and I just see the results. But yeah, that's this account, kind of new account.
yeah, I love it. I love it, and that's what brings us here on camera as well.
Yep.
And notice, if you didn't notice, Mario's speaking English and he also speaks French. So he's speaking, in his secondary language. So how's that for self-image? Look how much
Mhm.
what you're doing, right? This is amazing.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about what you're currently doing professionally, more about your school and what your big goals are now that you have clarity about what you really want.
Mhm. All right, thank you for asking that,
Yeah.
because that's something I'm very passionate of. And so my school, basically, I'm building an online school, which I already had it settled since yeah 2 months now, but I've been working that since a few months back. And this is a school on Afrobeat drumming. So I really focus on Afrobeat and teaching drummers because the drums is the to me the fundamental instrument in Afrobeat. So if you know how to play the drums, you know how to you understand any instruments, any rhythms in Afrobeat. And I can even extend to at least 80% of the music you hear today, maybe more. So that's my vision, like by teaching Afrobeat to people, to drummers, then to also bass. I have just one bass player who just started as a student with me. He want to learn drums also, but he just want to put Afrobeat into his musical repertoire, musical self, and put this knowledge into his own music. So it's open to any musicians who want to level up, who wants to learn African rhythms in a funny way, in a with a music that inspire a lot of artists like Jay-Z, Beyonce, sorry, Paul McCartney, Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers. Many musicians today say that Fela Kuti in Afrobeat is a big inspiration. So for me, my vision is to see a lot of drummers, a lot of musicians knowing that music and spreading the message of this music, spreading this music out in every places in the world and just share it with events, uh, new compositions, uh, shows, and just play this music and make people feel good because at the end this music is designed to make people feel good and open to receive messages. That's also this self-development thinking to present into a results program helped me also to understand because for me as a musician and by the knowledge I've got and the experience I've got and the the experience with Fela Kuti's music and Afrobeat music, I found out that the way he developed his music is a way to open minds with sound, with music, and then he used to speak and to how would you say that to give the message because now that people have listened to the music and feel the music and dance and hear the sounds and they are happy and feel good, now you can talk and people are open to receive informations. So I found out that is a very good way to educate people. So it's part of this program, Thinking to Results, because I want to know more about myself and be able also to educate myself, but also educate other people with that knowledge, which is universal. And so that's pretty much where I'm at with this school, teaching Afrobeats basically, and also give a little bit of insight with self-development because yeah, that's part of music. Yeah, music heals. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, no, I love it. Thanks for sharing, and you're currently seeking clients right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Seeking students to come and yeah,
Okay. Yeah, and it's online, right?
online.
Yeah, so, if you're basically wanting to tap into Afrobeat as a drummer, Mario's the man. He's extremely talented. And we'll make sure your social media and also a link to basically your online drumming school. That way people can access it. I'll make sure that's there, after this post. Okay. That way they can reach out to you and learn more about what you're doing, and also connect with what you're doing in general. Because Mario, every time we have calls, he's like in a different country every now and then. So he's been touring a lot, so always link in what he's doing. So here's a very bold question as we're wrapping up here. And any personal goals you would like to share on camera? If not, it's okay.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't mind. I'm not used to really talk about myself. And it's not that I'm shy, but it's just, sometimes just I'm not used to it. But I'm glad that you many times push me into express and into getting out of my comfort zone. And it's good to share. And that's why also I learned with this program and with also social media is to share things that you love, basically, not things that you don't love, but things that you love. And my goals too. And my personal goals, like, is not crazy goal, but it's beautiful goal for me. Is just to be, a father and to have children and to build a family. I have a house that I'm very grateful for, and I just want to build a family. That's for my personal goals. It's just something I want, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And we'll talk off camera. I have something to share in regard to that goal. That should be
Okay.
helpful for you. So this has been really good, Mario. I'm glad we're able to get on camera and, share in the group here and also with your following as well. Any last words or guidance or anything you would like to say, to our audience and for all those that are watching?
Mhm. Um, I would say that if you think that the purpose of life is to evolve and to grow, and you have some goals, you have something inside you that tells you that you you want more, you want something. Maybe it's not clear yet, but you want something. You have some aspiration. Uh, just make a decision to to uh, to take the actions and to have the guidance from people that can give you the knowledge, that can give you the right vibrations, because it's not just knowledge but also vibration, the feeling of life, of who they are. And so if you have these things in your mind that you think like maybe the way I'm doing today is not really, something is wrong, there is something missing, or I'm doing something wrong, or I want something more, to me, you just have to take this decision and jump when you have an opportunity. And to me, when I discovered Bob Proctor and this material a little bit later on, and now that I've been working, practicing every day for 6 months, I know that this material is the thing to do. For me, it's like one of the most important things I did in my life, one of the most important decisions I did in my life, because it will have impact on every areas of my life, and it already has impacts that I can see now in a very short period of time. So yeah, to end this call, my last word would be like, uh, just jump, believe in yourself. As you said, we have infinite potential. So if you believe you have infinite potential, and you have big ideas, and you feel that you are a good person that can achieve things, and you want to achieve better things and help people or anything, just take the decision to do it. And then when you see an opportunity, just go into it, full of your heart and your mind and everything. And to me, my belief is that it's going to work, and people will help you, and you will see many things happening.
Amazing. Amazing. I wish I had sound effects, but we can keep doing this.
That's good. I like it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I keep saying I'm gonna find some sound effects for Zoom, but yeah, thank you, Mario, for sharing that,
Thanks
and
for
for getting
inviting
on
me.
camera, and just answering a few questions and letting everyone know who you are, right?
Mhm.
Even doing posts, but now we got a longer version of who you are and tapped into some great things today. And I'll share again, it's always a pleasure guiding you, and working with you. And I'm really proud of you because you mentioned every weekend, we're showing up. Every day you're at least studying, putting maybe a half an hour in a reading or watching the videos. And I don't think we mentioned here, but repetition is the key to learning. And the more you read the same thing, it's not something that you didn't see before. It's something in yourself that you didn't see before. So you're kind of revealing yourself. And like, we have infinite potential, right? Unlimited potential. And we can create whatever it is that we want. And you talked about fear, right? Fear and faith both demand us to believe in something we can't see. So
Mhm.
you're acting on faith. You acted on faith, and you're acting continuously on faith. A lot of people choose fear, right? And fear is interesting because it mostly holds a lot of people back. So I'm glad that you're seeing that, and especially after going through mentorship, you can look back and see how you've been shifting over
Mhm.
time, and even your own mindset. This is endless. You can use this over and over and over again, and it's scalable, right? So I'm so glad to see all the wins you've had, all the realizations. We didn't get into all the wins. You mentioned a few because there are some where you were writing things down and all of a sudden it happened that day or the next day. Um, but I think it's so amazing for you to kind of share your journey, and experiences with this content. So, and of course, for those that want to reach me and you want to break through some fear and you want growth in your life, and you're tired of being where you are, and you have a desire. You really want to change things, whether it be entrepreneur, get out of the job you're not liking, whether it's to buy some things that you always wanted, or just to have a better lifestyle with more money. The desire is unique to everyone, right? Everyone has their own thing. So I'll make sure my call link is available in the description or a comment, and just reach out to me. Actually, you can just message me right on Facebook as well. So there's no way to avoid your own growth.
Yeah.
So, Mario, anything else there? We good?
I'm good. Thanks for inviting me, Jamel. And I really love, our relationships, and you help me so much every day. And yeah, and yeah, I can see you on the road to, helping you are helping many people around you. And I just love your energy, your vibration. You are very patient and observant, and you listen. You really are here to to help me to understand the concept and everything, and you really guide me through those lessons. So I really understand the value of it, and the value of the work you are doing and the things you are doing. I really like admire that and appreciate that, love that. And yeah, you are really doing great things for me and for many people. So thanks again. And yeah, I'm glad I I met you like 1 year ago, and we're here now. So thanks again. And people of this group, like yeah, I can't say many things about Jamel and how he helped me, but if you start working with him, you'll see you'll see how he can really push you and make you understand like what you got inside, like actually reveal like the potential you have and understand. It's not like it's pushing you like you have to do it now. No, but it's helping you to do more for yourself by yourself. It's guidance. It's not pushing like that. So I really appreciate that. So thanks a million times again, and yeah, it's just the beginning for me. So for growth, and there's no end to it.
I love it. Thank you so much for your kind words, Mario. And
You're
you
welcome.
know, you're you're welcome a million times over, so it's just a part of my DNA now. Awesome live stream. So let me figure out how to stop this, and make sure you reach out to Mario for those that are interested in what he's doing. He has some great goals and business that he's running, and he had client calls today, and he's definitely seeking new clients for this month as well. And just tap in what he's doing. Check out his social media, follow him. He's been touring a lot. Tap in with his music, what he's doing, and go from there. Of course, with me, anything I can help you with, I'm here. All right. So let's end this live stream. Let me figure this out. Stay on camera, Mario. Cross
Yeah.
your fingers.